All right, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. In this game, this building game, and not just building game, any business that you're in, you got to have a mentor. You got to have someone who's already been there, and they're going to try to help you navigate through this thing. Let's get into this. All right, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth again, the Alpha Builder. Guys, you get a chance, don't take much, just hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, this may be I'm just gonna, and I may ramble on this one right here because there's a lot to unpack about having a mentor. I wouldn't be where I am today, and I'm not where I want to be. But I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing if there wasn't, for me, going in the right path and navigating to certain people that helped me get and help me learn and get to where I am now. And I'm going to go over these people. I actually got 4 people that I want to discuss today. But let me just say this right here. Now, me personally, I have a lot of people that come to me. They see what I'm doing, especially with the students. I teach students at a junior college, as well as I'm building. I think building now is probably one of my main jobs, and I teach too. But I actually would teach. I just enjoy teaching. A lot of people come to me and they say, "Hey, man, I need you to mentor my son." They got troubled kids. Guys, I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in that at all. And the reason I'm not is because I got kids of my own that is taking every fiber of my body and my mind to just guide them and hold those guys in the road. Okay? That's what fathers are. Well, that's why we have to have fathers. We gotta keep these fathers in the household. Or these fathers got to be around. Mothers let these fathers have these boys, but and girls too. But mentors are critical. And I tell you what I do. Even when I started, guys, I used to teach. I started out as a school teacher, mathematics teacher. And what I would do, my first year of teaching, I would go to veteran teachers' classroom who has proven to have this thing figured out. And I just asked them, during my prep period, prep is when you don't have a period, that's when you're planning for your other classes. I would go sit in these teachers' classroom. Miss Laura Little, Mr. Dennis Kugler. I would sit in their classrooms and I would learn from them. Guys, this was my first year ever teaching. And I would take the things, the best parts of their class, whether it was control, whether it was where they engage with the students, I would take those things and I compiled all those things within my class, the top things. And guys, when I did that, I became the teacher of the year my first year ever teaching. Because I took those strengths that those teachers had. Thank you. I'd like to thank to those teachers. Let's talk about the building part. These were the guys that I followed. And I'm going to give some of these guys are still around with us now, and I don't want to just, put their names out here, but so I'm going to call them by their last name. First guy is Mr. Robertson. Mr. Robertson. This guy, he got me started. The first house I ever built, I knew nothing about building. All I knew is thought I was just gonna go out here and get all good subcontractors. Well, I got with the Home Builders Association. They have associate members, so I figured if I just go out there and just get all the subcontractors that were part of the Home Builders Association, then I don't really have to do any thinking. Those guys already know how to do things. That's so far from the truth. That guy, my first house, never forget, guys, I had absolutely no clue. I almost want to break down when the excavators came out there to try to get everything ready for the house, because I didn't know what to tell him. He sat me down, Mr. Robertson. He sat me down and he said, we didn't sit down. He was standing out there on the lot. And he took control. And when he got finished with that excavator, he said, look, you better have a plan on your site. You better know what everything's gonna do, what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen from day one. You better have a plan. You better have marks on the ground. Get you a spray can and you better spray marks on the ground to let them know what they're supposed to do. You're in control of this site. This is your site. You better know more, and you better have things figured out more so than those subcontractors. Because if you don't, it would take. He told me this, guys. He said that you have to think about your job like this. You as a builder, someone is gonna entrust you with a pot of money, i.e. banks. And he said that, so you imagine yourself, all your subcontractors are gonna dig their hand in that bucket and get some money out. And at the end of the day, when they get finished digging in your bucket, you're gonna have what's left over. He said, your job is to make sure that they get what they were supposed to get and they don't get too much. I keep playing that over and over, and I see that picture. A bunch of guys digging in a bucket trying to take my money. And I gotta make sure some money is saved for me at the end. That's what he told me. Now, he was also the builder that, when I wanted to get started, I was just thinking about this house going up. Man, I'm fixing to build me a house and things are fixing to be great and I'm gonna be the man, I'm gonna get this thing going. He wasn't even concerned about no structure. He wasn't concerned about no house. The one thing he kept talking about, I didn't want to hear this. Man, I'm ready to build. He kept talking about water. It's like, I'm not kidding about no water, but let's build this out. Guys, the most critical aspect of your home. And guys, if you look at a house today, the whole purpose of a house is to move water away. Guys, water is more dangerous than a fire. Because if you trap water behind those walls and you collect water in that house, you got mold. Mold can be deadly. It is a silent death. Wood can dry rot, termites eat that house from the inside out. At least if you had a fire, you know what's the problem. You seeing it. Water, you don't know. So he was the one that said, you gotta get this water. He was focused on water from day one. And he was the one that told me, if you can't see it, you don't need to be building it. I tell my students that right now. Guys, you're gonna find out when my students listen to this right here. All the one-liners that I have, I got it from a mentor. Okay. James Robinson was an old school guy. Had an old pickup truck. He'd ride from site to site. He would hold his subcontractors accountable. He would have the game plan on the front end. And that's what I learned from him. Builder number 2. And he's probably gonna I talk to this guy right now 2 to 3 times a week. Early in the morning, doesn't matter what time. Mr. McLeod. great friend of mine. I've probably known him over 20 years. He's maybe a little over a decade older than me. But this guy has seen it all. He has seen all the mistakes that you can make as a builder. He's seen it. He's lived it. He's seen enough mistakes to understand, hey, I done wore that shirt. I'm not going to wear that one again. One thing he does is once he see that mistake, he corrects it. He'll never make it again. And he make things better. He figure out a way. He got that process. He create those protocols, processes to make sure that won't happen again. That guy has the wisdom. He brings, Mr. McLeod has brought the wisdom to the table. And that is what I needed. I needed someone who is, hey, look here, I done that. You don't need to do this right here. He has a lot of one-liners too. I've gotten a lot of one-liners from him that I've used over the years. Even with my students. My students are gonna say, if they see this record next thing, man, you have no genuine anything. Nothing came from you. You know, yes, I recycle these guys' information because I'm compiling them within me. But yes, this is what you learn. Wisdom, experience. He mastered it. Nothing was ever given to him. He was one of those people that he just never got the good luck, which is good. I think Michael Jordan even said this phrase one time. He said that, you know, he went down a whole diatribe on all the things. He was entrusted with maybe 100 last-second shots and he missed. He did this and he failed. And he said at the end of the day, all of those failures is why I win. And that is what Mike McLeod is. He's just like me to a degree because I never get the good luck. Never ever get it. I have to learn the hard way. I appreciate you, Mike. The next guy, unfortunately, he's not with us today, Mr. Hines. This guy was like my dad. He was a builder. Now, he was building in Huntsville up in, I think he did a couple of things at the college, maybe built a couple of dorms, and he built a few houses. Now, he was the master of relationship with his customers. He mastered the art of dealing with your customers. He got that down to a science. And you can't, you know, he would tell me things and, you know, I talked to him about, you know, how do I deal with this customer right here? And one thing that he made sure I understood, you can't let the money and the customer, so you got your money, your business, and your customer. You don't mingle them up. You don't need to be trying to, you know, and I kind of learned this, guys, when I used to officiate sports. You know, all you gotta do is make, you know, it doesn't matter how well the coaches act before the game. They friends and they smiling with you and everything. You make one call to go against them, they gonna show you how they really feel. That snap, just like that. He had this right here figured out with these customers, guys. Now I'm still working on that. I hadn't gotten that one figured out yet. I'm getting better. I'm getting better, guys. I am getting better. And the only way that you can get better, to be honest with you, with those customers is to make sure you meet them weekly. Try not to go 2 weeks without meeting them. Make sure you guys are on the same page. If you have information or anything that you got to get to them, you need to give it to them quick enough so decisions can be made. Don't wait till the last minute and say you owe another $20,000. That's just not how you do people. But this guy right here, Mr. Hines, he helped me understand the relationship that you should have with people. He was real tight on money too, man. I mean, he would penny pinch you to death. But you gotta separate, man. You separate your business, your people, and you understand this is about business at the end of the day. You can't get too buddies and stuff like that. I get it, man. Sometimes, after they moved in the house and after everything is good, yeah, that's fine. But that's what he helped me with. Okay. Next person, Mrs. Clay. Mrs. Clay, and I tried to find a picture of her on the internet. I couldn't find her. I was building in a subdivision called Riverwoods in Helena. She was building the same subdivision with me. This is one of the meanest ladies you would ever meet. She used to be we had a little bit in common because I used to, at the time, I think I was still a math teacher, but she was an English teacher. I think she was an English teacher at John Carroll High School. She was really, really mean, and she would, but I found out later that she really wasn't mean. She was just detailed oriented, and she expected perfection from her subcontractors. She expected them to do it exactly like she told them to do it, and if they did anything that deviated from what she told them to do, she would have a problem. Which is good. She held her subcontractors accountable. She ruled. She made that accountability, and that is what I got from her. And I'm not sitting here just punching my subcontractors in place. I mean, I'm not doing that, guys, but I hold them accountable. And one way that you make sure they are accountable is you pay them when they get it right. If they don't get it right, you don't pay them. Be fair about it, guys. There's a certain level of being ethical and fair when you're dealing with your subcontractors. Matter of fact, I try to make sure my subs get paid first. Before suppliers. Suppliers may not like that, but people who do labor, I want them to go ahead and get paid first. She watched her sites, man. She stuck around all day long. She didn't go home, no breaks or stuff like that. She didn't have no superintendent. She sat there with her sites all day long. She might have been building 3 or 4 houses at a time, but she sat right there in her, I don't even know if she had a truck back then. She might have had a little SUV. And she was the one that used to have all her plans in a neat little box in the back of her car. And she would watch those sites. She didn't go around picking up shingles and stuff like that. See, these are the things she planned. She was a planner. I hadn't heard anything from her, hadn't seen her anymore. But if I did see her, thanks. I would tell her thanks. So guys, the bottom line is, and I took all these guys, Mr. Robertson, Cloud, Mr. Hines, Mrs. Clay, I took them and I compiled them within me. I don't know where this is going to lead. Hopefully it leads somewhere. We see a treasure at the end of the rainbow. That's fine. But the bottom line is, I couldn't do these things without them, without their guidance. Things that I'm doing, even the things I've done before in the past and things that I'm doing now, there's no way in the world I could have done that if I did not have some mentor that was helping me. I got a few guys right now that I try to mentor. We mentor each other. Nothing wrong with that, because I think that we can learn from everybody. Every day, I'm in this game to learn. I can learn from anybody. So guys, keep that in mind. You cannot do this thing. You can't do it by yourself, guys. You You need to have mentors. You need to have help, friends, whatever you have. And that's with any business, not just building. All right, guys, that's another one for today. Like, share, subscribe. That usually help me kind of grow the channel. And you guys have a good one.